Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
Stephen and I have come out today to the Leduc Festival of Lights, which is going on at the Leduc West Cultural Society. And if we look to our left, we see a replica. We're going to be going in there in a little while. It's a smaller replica of the Hooper bodyworks of the Rolls Royce factory, essentially. And inside that building lies a local and famous collection. A good friend of ours, Howard, who's going to show us around and let us take in the sights of his Rolls Royce museum that's in that building right there. And for those of you watching from overseas, if you are fans of the marque, this should be quite the experience. In fact, I see my friend's wife and my friend's daughter inside, so we're going to follow the path. Everywhere we look, there are lights and music and trees, and it looks like some kind of Buzz Lightyear painted car over there. You see that, Stephen?
Oh, no, I'm blind.
Right there.
Oh my. Did
Well, it's got the
Buzz Lightyear?
well, it's got the Rusty's logo on it, but it's
Dad, that's Lightning McQueen.
or sorry, Buzz Lightyear. You know what I meant. Lightning McQueen.
You would better
Okay.
keep that in the video.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue down the path here and see what we find. Stephen is checking out the chassis of an R-Type Bentley. One of only 12 cars sold new in Canada, so this was a Canadian imported vehicle. Hey, I have that same at home. We have that same washer container that came off of our Jensen, and I hung on to it. But look, everywhere we look, there are just miles and miles of cool Rolls Royces.
And Bentley.
And Bentley. Well, I mean, it's the same, essentially. Bentley was like the sporty version. This has a, I think this is a Ghia-bodied Rolls. This is an unusual one. Camargue 76. Radiator slants 4 degrees forward. Oh, Pininfarina designed it. Who designed like Italian, it was an Italian design, which really unusual to see one of these, especially around here. But it's a custom bodied car, and it's not on a Ferrari or anything. It's got a much different slant to the windshield. You can see all the differences. You kind of look side by side. The windshield is more angled than its regular sort of version. It has this funky, 70s ultra modern looking back end on it. Plush interior. Look at those seats. In the dash, they always have really nice wood. I'll see if I can get a little closer. So, really funky looking design. And all of these cars are in just spectacular condition. But it's kind of neat to see Farina body Rolls, because that's not something you see every day. Let's keep walking around. And here we've got a 29 Rolls, 20 horsepower. Shipped it to Victoria, BC. Car had a saloon body originally mounted, but was replaced with this boat tail body in the 60s. So it's a boat tail. And when they say boat tail, they mean the back end of the car literally looks like the back end of a boat. That's quite the modification. Kind of interesting. Auburn made a boat tail Speedster, which was a factory created car. But yeah, it looks like you've got a boat driving down the road. And it would have taken some fine work. I mean, this craftsmanship on the wood's very nice. It would have taken a bit of work to make that come together. Of course, right-hand drive. With the top down, this would really look like a boat on wheels. And what's interesting to note about the car too, you can kind of see the brush lines. A lot of these early cars were brush painted. Now, that one probably would have been buffed out a fair bit more than it was, but back in the teens and 20s, it was not uncommon for a brush painted lacquer finish car, and then they'd buff it all out. You gotta go look at the back. Steven's checking out the boat tail. It's a Phantom 2. This would be your pretty well top of the line Rolls back in 1930. Limousine. So it should have divisionary glass. Look at the motor, or engine, I should say. I mean, it's gargantuan. Look at the size of this engine, Steven. That is one big engine, and it's, you know, all accessible. It's a nice thing with the panels that open up like this on the old cars. You can really get to it. But if you look at the interior, you've got your chauffeur's compartment up front, and in the back you've got the divisionary glass, the umbrella, of course, so you don't get rained on, and the jump seats, which there's one popped out there, and then your bigger bench in the back. This car is, how tall do you say this car is? It's over 6 feet tall. It probably, the roof height is probably about 6'4" or so, because it's much taller than I am. And a Phantom 2 Landaulet. So this is your typical, well, I shouldn't say typical, but this is like your, you know, if you'd see in the movies and somebody's driving up and they've got, you know, chauffeur-driven car. The front compartment, of course, open for the chauffeur, and would have had likely a removable section that went over top of that. But your driver is out in the open, kind of like, you know, somebody riding a carriage. You get to sit inside while they're outside whipping the horses, so to speak. And in the back, you've got this luxurious cabin. And you might be surprised to know that velour interiors or cloth interiors were considered the luxury. It was more luxurious to have a soft interior like this with the cloth, and it was. And who got the leather? Leather was for the help, because it was an industrial. It could take, you know, a bit of a beating better. So you've got leather door skins, leather seat, and you'd almost need an engineering degree to figure out how to work that steering wheel. Look at all the different advances and speed control settings and such on there. But yeah, quite the stunning vehicle. Side-mounted tires. What do you think of this one, Steven?
It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of long. I feel like parallel parking this thing might be a little hard.
it might be a little tough to parallel park, yeah. And we've got another Phantom 3, 1936. Another luxurious ride, and sort of a chocolate brown finish. You can see the engine configuration has changed a bit from the straight. I think that was a straight 8 in the other. V12 in Cognac. They produced 710 of them. So you can see the similarity in style between our old Daimler even, which is after the war, and this 1936 pre-war, that the body shape and design and style of these cars didn't change much, because the war basically halted all progress on automobiles for the duration of the war. So they started off like this, and after the war they looked almost identical for a short time. Here we've got a 34 with Hooper coachwork. This is a 2025. Power brakes, centralized chassis lubrication, backup lights, trafficators. The body costs 550 pounds sterling. Art Deco style of the park lights on the front fenders. Oh yeah, look at that. Art Deco.
What is the boat ornament called again?
Spirit of Ecstasy.
Spirit of Ecstasy, yeah. Do you have to, is it so large that you have to turn it sideways to open the hood?
Oh, you mean how the hood opens up?
Yeah,
it's hinged in the middle. Oh yeah,
you have to turn it sideways.
And yeah, you can see that actually. So we'll go from the Rolls Royce the 2530 that's here right now in the black with the side mount covers, and again it has the divisionary glass, and look, it has a little talkie hole, so you could actually talk through that little compartment and close it up if you want the keep your glass closed and just talk to the driver. You flip that little circle around right there. Excuse me, where are we going? I'm kidnapping you. Or maybe not.
Very fancy kidnapping.
This has some interesting decals on the side here that might designate it as, let's see why. Family crest on the rear doors. 2 jump seats, small folding writing desk, vanity case with comb. Wow. So the family that owned this car had their own crest added to the detail on the doors, and it has a writing desk built into it. I'm going to see if we can see the writing desk through the inside. Look at that woodwork. It's got a clock back there. Yeah, a little writing desk that pops out. It's like a little portable office. Really cool. And what Stephen was pointing out on this 39 Rolls Royce Wraith is that you have to actually turn the Spirit of Ecstasy ornament to the side so the hood can open. Otherwise, it would be bumping into those wings. Royal Auto Club badge. Let's see what it says about this. Sheared line body style. So that means it's going to come, sheer line means it cuts off, slope down at the back like this. They had the Austin Princess did the same thing around that time. They call it the sheared line. It was a design feature. You can see a little bit more room on the interior. And it's got the picnic tables that pop down in there with the veneer wood. A lot sleeker, lower. So this car sits probably around 5'8", so nearly a foot shorter or so than its predecessors. But again, beautiful lines. And this looks like an original paint car. 51 Silver Dawn. Sold new as a demonstrator in 52 to Arts Soundwith in Edmonton by the Rolls dealer in Montreal. So this has been around here since new. Left-hand drive, leather upholstery, wooden instrument panel. First model to be completely built by Rolls Royce. So before that, they were coach-built cars. You'd get the chassis like we saw earlier, and then you'd have somebody build it. Oh, and fancy music starts playing when you look at it too. Here's a silver Wraith. 53, much bigger vehicle. I don't know if you can kind of tell the size comparison there, but this Wraith really dwarfs the Silver Dawn. And everything almost comes right to the front of the car. Look, the headlights, the grille, everything is just right at the very front of the vehicle. If you would have accidentally run into a wall, you'd wreck a lot of stuff in this thing.
It says here that the car was built for a head of state and that these are traditional colors for that.
Oh yeah, when it came back to England from India, the Portland Cement Association owned it. It was used in the taxi business. Neat. Sold the car. Unfortunately, went broke during a recession. But he had quite the ride for a while. Again, sheer line back. And unusual that they mentioned it has leather upholstery in the back as well. Jump seats, and it has a little liquor cabinet back there. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. That with the doors open on the left is a little liquor cabinet, and it has crystal glasses inside. The drink and drive applied only to the driver, I guess. You could sit back there. See, there's a picture of it. You could sit in the back and enjoy a sip of cognac. Listening to the music in the background. Is an R-Type Bentley. There's sort of a royal blue color, wide white walls. Wow. What a collection. Well, Steve and I are going to visit with some of the other car enthusiasts that are mingling around here. And which is your favorite so far, Steven?
So far it is that car.
What do you like about it?
I'll show you.
Okay.
This car is really ahead of its time for me anyway. And I think this is where James Bond got the idea. If you come with me.
Why, does it have an ejector seat?
Yeah, right there. That's an ejector seat in the back.
Yeah, okay. I knew you were going somewhere with that. You seemed way too enthusiastic about it. Hey, it could be though. Look, it has a giant sunroof above the seat. You could maybe eject somebody out the back.
That is exactly what I'm saying. You can't tell me that is not for an ejector seat.
So it's not necessarily a car. You just want the ability to eject your passengers at will.
Maybe.
Okay. But if you remember, James Bond's car was... Do you remember what it was, Stephen? It was English.
Oh, I forgot the name of it. Don't put that in the video.
It was an Aston Martin DB5. But the dialogue in the first James Bond movie, he says, "What happened to the Bentley?" So they're implying that James Bond was driving around in something like, the Bentley, the blue one over there, and that they had given him a bit of a change of pace by giving him a sports car. So really there maybe is a James Bond connection with some of these vehicles.
I would like to see a chase scene with James Bond in a really old Bentley.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have it decked out with rockets or something good anyway. Well, let's keep walking about. Another neat vehicle that's up at the front. So there's where we came from. We tootle down this hallway, and there's a 36 Rolls Royce Phantom 3. And the cool thing about this, it was used in the Peking to Paris rally in 2010. And I guess along the way, it made the whole trip. They said it made the trip relatively fine. The only damage was this rim, which was severely beaten up. Look, it split right down the middle. So hard impact on probably a bad piece of road or something took that one rim out, and they got it there sort of as a reminder. But still a remarkable condition considering it was used on that rally. Stood up pretty good. It looks like he's got the seats out getting upholstered, or there's some work being done to it. What's interesting about this collection is that this isn't everything that's here. There's also one of the rarest Rolls Royces in this collection isn't on display right now. He has one of the cooler cars you can imagine. Let me show you a picture. He has, and it's not here, it's not that exact car, but he's got a silver Ghost just like that. It's probably, you know, made for, you know, dignitaries and, you know, leaders of countries, and it's just such an amazing vehicle, and he's got one. I mean, one of these days maybe he'll let me do a video and show you guys what it looks like. But Silver Ghost is definitely an iconic Rolls Royce. I think almost everybody's dad probably had a little model of one of those sitting around on the cupboard at some point. But what a way to display your collection, especially if you're into single marks like this. There is kind of one of everything. And this, like I said, this isn't everything he's got either. I mean, wow, what a knockout collection. Before we go, I guess I should probably, I don't know if I mentioned it before, this is how you would buy a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. You would get the chassis, you get the grille and the wheels, and it would go to the bodybuilder or the like Hooper or Windovers or whoever you're gonna have custom build your body, and they would build you custom coachwork body that would go on top of this frame. And the same goes for the Daimler, which I own, which at the time would have been as expensive as a Rolls, but isn't anymore. That's the power of a brand, is that, you know, Bentley and Rolls have done well to maintain their brand name, where Daimler just fell off. You know, now the name is being used by Daimler-Benz, or Daimler-Benz, but back at this time, yeah. Here's your car, sir. How would you like it to look? What would you like your seats to be like? What would you like your interior to be made of? Really, really neat to see it like this. So we didn't really wander around in all the lights, and actually all the people that were here have since left because we spent the entire evening, I did anyway, socializing. Stephen has been incredibly patient with his dad.
I socialized a little bit.
He socialized a bit, but it's not every day that you get to meet collectors that are that enthusiastic, and that is Howard, who owns all that stuff. And I didn't interview him because I wanted to sort of respect his privacy with his collection there, but although he did offer me the opportunity to show it on camera, you know, he's trying to get one of every mark. You know, like if he has a Rolls Royce Phantom, he wants a Phantom 1, a Phantom 2, a Phantom 3. If he's, you know, he wants a Silver Wraith and a Shadow and a Cloud. So he has kind of one of every mark, I think he said, including a Ghost. And that's a pretty impressive collection. And considering we're here in Canada and, you know, we've got Winter Wonderland all around me right now, it's not something you get a chance to tour or see every day. So thank you so much, Howard, for showing us your amazing collection and his tribute to Rolls Royce. We're going to call it a night and head back home. So guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you thought it was cool to check out these old cars with me, and you guys have a lovely day. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.
Toodaloo.